Andrew Maynard is only in his second year as a pro here, and at this stage he's still viewed as a can't-miss prospect. He first found boxing in the Army while stationed at Fort Carson in Colorado, and didn't even lace up gloves seriously until he was 20 years old. By 1988, he climbed all the way to Olympic gold in Seoul, where he was widely pegged as the game's most charismatic fighter. This was a team that had Roy Jones Jr., Riddick Bowe, Ray Mercer, Kennedy McKinney, and Michael Carbajal, among others. That pedigree had the big promoters circling, Josephine Abercrombie, Dan Duva, Bob Arum, but Maynard chose the management team of Sugar Ray Leonard and Mike Traynor, in part because Maynard came out of Leonard's Maryland backyard. Now under the guidance of trainer Pepe Correa, Maynard has already begun shaping himself for the pro game. The reckless, high-volume amateur attack has been dialed back into something more controlled and deliberate, maybe too controlled for his own good. He's 10-0 to start his career, but this is a clear step up in class. A meeting with 29-fight veteran Mike Sedillo. Now, Sedillo's 22-7 record doesn't tell the whole story. He's one of those guys who took the hard road, fighting anyone, anywhere, anytime, and surviving long enough to make it mean something. Trained by Chuck Bodak and Jerry Valencia, and fighting out of Chino, California, Sedillo owns a decision win over contender James Salerno, and has already shared the ring with two of the era's best in Michael Moore and Virgil Hill. His nickname is Scrap Iron, and it fits. He's a pressure fighter built on stubborn durability. So the contrast between the two fighters here could hardly be sharper. Maynard is the gold medalist with millionaire backing and a fast-track future. Sedillo is a warehouseman, grinding for every rung he can climb. And that's what makes this fight intriguing. In hindsight, Maynard, for all his talent, was being rushed. His late start in the sport still mattered. And this bout serves as the first real sign that the wheels might be wobbling. He has the gifts, no doubt, but he's still short on seasoning. And against someone like Sedillo, that lack of experience isn't a small thing.
Kind of changing his style. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, Pepe Correa, his trainer, has been allowing him to box more because a lot of times Andrew, throughout his amateur career, relied basically on strength. And there are times that guys are stronger than you are, so you have to be able to box and use that ring.
Al and I were talking earlier about the fact that Andrew Maynard seems to be a guy. Good uppercut there by Sedillo. A couple of uppercuts. And a left hand behind him.
And that was a very solid left hook. Sedillo not known as a good left hook artist, but that's one of the best I've seen him thrown. Let's see if this makes Andrew Maynard fight more like the old Andrew Maynard, where he brawls a little bit.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of too, Al, is the fact that when he gets nailed, he has a tendency to resort back to what he's done in the past, and that's to exchange punch for punch. But that, again, has gotten him thus far.
So it's a strength of his in a certain respect.
We started to talk a little bit earlier, Ray, about the fact that Andrew Maynard seems to be a guy who fights to the level of his competition, and I'm sure what you and everybody around Andrew Maynard are thinking right now is that you hope he does it against a guy like Sedillo.
I think he'll be okay in the next couple of rounds. I think with Andrew, what you'll see now is a guy that naturally, because this is the biggest fight of his career, and I'm sure he's very tight now.
Yeah, it's got to be a big step up for him. And he's really making a quantum leap. This is not just taking one logical step. I think it's fair to say that this is by far the best opponent he's faced.
This is a major leap. In fact, I recall when I fought for the NABF title back in, 79.
A couple years ago.
1979.
It's been a while. But I had the same type of anxieties. And once Andrew loosens up, you'll see a better Andrew Maynard.
Let's take a look at a couple of shots in that first round, and there was a good uppercut here, Al.
Yeah, Sedillo showing Andrew probably, Ray, more of an arsenal than he's seen from these other guys. He's already been hit with a good right, a good uppercut, and a good left hook. So he's seeing from Sedillo more punches than he's used to seeing so far from these different
guys. He's also seen a guy, Al, that's not afraid of him.
Yeah.
Ray, I remember you telling me, and I may have the wrong name here, but was it Andrew Virouette that hit you?
Adolfo
Virouette, who hit you really hard. And to this day, I know you say that's the hardest that you've been hit. And I can't help but wonder if something like getting in here against a guy like Mike Sedillo and getting a pretty good shot in the first round might be something that Andrew Maynard will remember for his career.
Well, this is like leaving high school and going to college. It's another level.
And Buttress 1 point, Andrew Maynard landed 4 of 33 jabs in the first round. And I know they want him to land more jabs.
The jab is the key.
That there been any discussions, though, about that fight, or is it just all hearsay?
There has not been. In fact, there's been a great deal of speculations. And I tell you, to be honest with you, Barry, I have not even considered the fact of fighting again. I've been concentrating a great deal on Andrew.
All right, we'll let you get away and worry in peace here. Thanks for taking time. Always good to see you.
Good to see you again, Ray. And as Ray Leonard leaves, Andrew, he is
Good shot,
probably heartened by what Andrew Maynard just did, which is land a superb left hook. And you know what? I got to tell you the truth, folks. This is the Andrew Maynard that I think is going to make his mark as a light heavyweight. They don't want him wild, but I'll tell you what, he's going to have to be aggressive. And if he's going to win against a Mike Sedillo, who is a guy who's a good technician, Barry, he's going to have to be aggressive like that. Maybe Ray Leonard being here on with us jinxed Andrew Maynard. I don't know.
That's right, because since Ray walked, Maynard is doing much better.
This came out, however, in a round in which otherwise Mike Sedillo had done quite well.
Now, it's important for Sedillo not to get careless in this situation, too, I would think.
Yeah, and I doubt that he will.
Good right hand by Sedillo there. Caught Maynard on the way in.
And that's what they're worried about with Maynard, getting countered like that.
So far, this fight, very close fight. Maynard perhaps the most damaged, but a close fight. We'll be back.
Was able to weather that and last through the round, not even go down. I'll tell you what, Barry, that could have been a nice confidence builder for Andrew Maynard. I think he needed that. Absolutely. Rounds, he may be making Andrew Maynard throw a lot of punches and then be planning to get him later.
Yeah, remember, this is a 12-round fight, so Maynard can and very likely will get into uncharted waters here.
And Sedillo doesn't want a brutal pace early in this bout. He wants to make Maynard punch a lot, which he has in this round.
So this round, just a case of Maynard doing more than Sedillo, and that's probably enough for him to win it. We start the 4th round, and Sedillo took the 3rd round off, while Maynard did most of the work. Now, was it a plan, or is that a sign of things to come?
It seems Maynard wants to heat things up, maybe go after Sedillo even a little bit more. Remember, he hurt Sedillo in the second with a good left hook.
Good right hand there by Maynard. Sedillo trying to counter with an uppercut, but missed.
Sedillo blocking a lot of those punches. Summer getting through. Certainly it would be Maynard winning a round like this if Sedillo is as inactive as he was in the last one.
Sedillo not doing much. It was right hand at the top of the head.
Wait a minute, Mike. Get out of there. Come on. Now, when you say Sedillo's gone a long way in fights, you have to know that he's gone a long way against some pretty tough customers. He went 10 against Virgil Hill in losing. He went 10, beat Jim McDonald when Jim McDonald was a pretty good light heavyweight. Lost in 12 to Tony Willis for the NABF light heavyweight. Beat Uriah Grant. So we'll see how he fares as we go on. He's doing enough to win these rounds because Sedillo isn't doing much. Maynard is missing a lot, though, and I'm sure at some point we'll see some numbers that will verify that. He's missing a lot of punches here.
Keep him up, Maynard.
Good uppercut by Sedillo.
Sedillo is doing a nice defensive job. He's blocking, he's slipping.
And he is making Maynard miss.
And miss badly.
There's a good example of it right there. It was a right hand right over the top of the head of Sedillo. Maynard has not scored with a punch in the last 30 seconds.
And ironically, a nice right by Sedillo. Maynard might still win this round, maybe, but he's going to tire himself out.
Just the fact that he did more. What will he have left? That may be the question. We'll be back.
In that round.
This is round number 5, and once again, we'll see if there's a method to the madness of Mike Sedillo. Take a look at the total punches through the first 4 rounds.
Keep him up, Maynard.
Now, you can see that Maynard has landed double the punches just about, but look at that percentage. 23% landing, and those 361, all those punches he missed could take a toll on Andrew Maynard as we go on in this bout.
On your card, though,
I've got Maynard winning the last 3 rounds. I don't know how you could deny him that.
pretty good combination there by Maynard, a right hand and left behind it.
And of course, if Sedillo is planning on tiring Maynard out, he has to have something left to shoot some bullets.
It was unknown. I remember Mike Tyson talking about that the first time he went the distance against, I believe it was against Tillis. And he said, I just didn't know, and as a result, he didn't look very good.
And Sedillo is starting to show us a little subtle change here. He's landing some of those lead right hands. Good right by Maynard there.
The jab working a little bit better in this round for Maynard. And a right hand by Maynard again, driving Sedillo into the ropes.
You know, and Maynard may be winning yet another round here. Even though Sedillo's landed a couple good shots, Maynard's missing so many of his punches, probably enough for getting in to maybe sneak another round in his column. So Sedillo, if he's going to keep giving these rounds away, better do well later in this fight.
Yeah, there's that old intangible ring generalship that we've talked about so many times. And Maynard is showing that, if there is any such thing.
Supposedly there is. What role it plays in scoring is seems odd to me, but here, this ought to be interesting.
Corner, as you see, Pepe Carrera. Out of Dunlap, the man crouching between the ropes, as you see.
And for Andrew Maynard, I'm sure Pepe Carrillo wants him to know that he's going to have to be more accurate with those punches. He's going to have to be sharper. Unless, of course, Sedillo never does fire back.
My man.
Well, it's getting to the point that we should find out.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Miguel.
Although when you think about it, we're only just about at the halfway point.
Coming up to round number 6, scheduled for 12.
By the way, as we're looking at the bell there, we should update our viewers that the situation we had last week in which the bell rang a minute early in the Bobby Chez-Uriah Grant fight against a couple of light heavyweights. A protest was filed by Al Benani, the manager of Uriah Grant, and the New Jersey Athletic Commission is now acting or viewing that protest and will decide what action, if any, they will take.
Sedillo got there with a combination, but Maynard has come back with one of his own, and on your card, yet another round for Maynard.
I have to give him that round. Even though he missed so many punches, Sedillo just landed a couple.
Don't hold him.
You also have to point out the fact that, and even though you mentioned this is not yet the halfway point, or just about at the halfway point, that there is no sign of fatigue on either man, particularly on Maynard, and that may be the plan of attack of Sedillo, but so far Maynard seems perfectly conditioned.
He's still throwing lots of punches, landing too many, but throwing more, and so what he is getting in gives him the edge. Sedillo's jab has been so dormant.
Oh, big right hand, and that hurt Maynard. And now Sedillo jumps on him. Maynard's in big trouble. Big trouble, and down he goes.
Sedillo hit him while he was down. They could have taken a point away. They may still. That may be academic.
8, 9. All right.
Maynard still on wobbly legs. And they motion him back to neutral corner. That gave Maynard a few more seconds.
You bet it did. But then maybe Sedillo should be punished in some way for hitting Andrew Maynard when he was down.
That's true, and that might have been his punishment.
And now Maynard holding.
Good right hand by Maynard.
And Sedillo at this point has to be careful because Andrew Maynard is a powerful young man.
Let him go. Great. Come on.
But Sedillo has got to like what's going on here for no other reason because he was going to get Maynard later.
And a good left hand again by Sedillo, and Maynard holds on. He's in trouble again.
Don't hit the back of the head.
The crowd who inevitably loves an underdog. Maynard is still hurt. No question about it. He goes down.
Now in that instant, Sedillo hit him again when he was down.
7, 8. You all right? Yep. All right. Back.
It's getting a little chaotic here.
Yes,
now,
it is. Maynard trying to fight back. A lot of swelling over the left eye of Maynard.
Interesting that Maynard went down on his own volition to get a rest. That's going to make this a 10-7 round.
Well, and the bell finally sounds. That's right. And that's a huge turnaround in this fight. Huge turnaround.
Andrew Maynard walked into those counter punches, and they've got their work cut out for him in that corner. You could almost see that coming because he was missing all those punches and leaving himself open.
A lot of frenetic activity. Take a look at the right hand by Sedillo.
Good short right hand. And Sedillo had countered well to this point, but not that well. You'll see him hit Maynard when he was down. That's a foul, folks. But they never call it. They don't call it on anybody in the pros these days, so I'm not surprised they didn't call it on Sedillo. Now, you could call that a foul too, except Andrew Maynard went down on his own volition, but it's the referee's decision to decide then whether it's a knockdown or a slip or whatever. It was called a knockdown because Maynard went down on his own.
Sedillo trying to jump on Maynard early in this round, and Maynard holds on again.
And Maynard is in serious trouble.
A lot of swelling. That left eye is going to close pretty soon. That's going to give me more trouble.
Well, I think this was too much of a step up too soon. They thought Mike Sedillo was shot. Oh, hey, that right hand may have stunned Sedillo.
Maynard just fighting on instinct right now, but he still seems to have some strength left.
And I'll tell you something, that may make Maynard better in this fight. Because let's face it, one of his strengths is when he gets in a brawl, we'll see.
Let's go. Work in there. Let's go.
I'll tell you, Maynard's strength still seems to be there. And now, actually, he's being more effective with his punches.
Landing on the inside. A lot of those arm punches, though. Now, from Maynard's standpoint, remember he had built up that early lead. So in the scoring, he might not be that badly off so far here.
The eye clearly bothering Maynard. He rubs at it every time they step away from each other. Sedillo, though, punching rather wildly.
Yeah, not as sustained an effort by Sedillo as he would like. And he's letting Maynard fight with him on the inside where Maynard would just as soon be.
Right hand by Maynard, and a good shot. And there's more punch in Maynard right now than there is in Sedillo right at the moment.
Come on, work in there. Let's
And
go.
Maynard might have done enough to win this round. Close round. We'll be back.
Pretty decent punches. But that man, Mike Sedillo, I think landing the harder shots.
And the two biggest cheerleaders in the place right now are Mike Traynor and Sugar Ray Leonard. Right now, this fight is there for either man to take. And one of the things that could really be a factor in this fight. Remember the early lead that Maynard built up.
Come on, don't hold.
And when this round is over, goes past this round, Andrew Maynard will see a round he's never seen before.
He has only gone 8, and that wasn't a very pretty 8, as we mentioned, against Mike DeVito. Very slow-paced 8, nothing like the first 8 rounds of this fight.
We had a wild light heavyweight brawl last week, and it's the same this week.
In fact, we've had a number of good fights on top of this year.
Tyrone Trice against Kevin Pompey, Livingstone Bramble, and Santos Cardona, to name a few. It's been excellent this year.
Maynard continuing to throw more punches than Sedillo.
Let him go.
And if you want to see great ESPN, well, we'll talk about it later. We've got a very special show this coming Monday that we'll get into a little later to look back at all our great fights. So the action just keeps coming.
10 years, you were there for all of them.
Amazing.
So we come down to the end of round number 8. From here on, it's all new to Andrew Maynard. Andrew Maynard, some anxious moments to be sure. A very close fight. We're headed into the 9th round.
And these are the rounds that presumably Mike Sedillo felt that if he could get here, he would be doing all right, and he would be able to take those rounds. He's in a very close fight, though.
Get off his neck.
Take a look at the total punches through 8 rounds, and it's just no contest in terms of how many punches have been thrown. But in terms of how many punches have landed, it's a very different story.
You can see the accuracy of Sedillo, and factor into that those 2 knockdowns, which made it that one round either a 10-8 or 10-7 round, depending on your outlook, and I've got it dead even.
And here again, though, this is something you and I have talked about since we've been doing these things together, but that is they have managed to stop the bleeding, so Maynard's corner doing a very good job. And even the swelling is really no worse. In fact, in some perverse way, it might even be that the cut helped out.
Yeah, that is exactly true, I think. And I'll tell you what, when Andrew Maynard went into a situation where he had to brawl with Sedillo, it almost benefited him. You know, the interesting thing is I've really only given 2 rounds of this bout to Sedillo. The 7th round, the 6th round, excuse me, and the 7th.
Come on,
and of course, one of those I had a 3-point round, so he gets a total of 4 points there.
You know, I'll tell you, the truth of the matter is, in all the boxing I've done over all the years, I have only seen one other 10-7 round. I saw a 10-6 round, and only one other 10-7 round.
I think if you knock a guy down twice, if there's 2 knockdowns, and he's really dominating the round, I could go for a 10-7. I don't do it very often. Sedillo is not counterpunching much.
Don't hold. Come on, don't hold.
Really important to note. Yes, Andrew Maynard missing punches. Yes, he's not looking very stylish. But he's throwing more punches than Sedillo, a lot more.
Got there with a pretty good left hand. I think actually of the 2, if either one of them is the least bit tired, it's Sedillo and not Maynard.
It would appear that way.
Step back. Let's go.
We come to the end of the 9th round, and Andrew Maynard has his legs under him again, and the biggest question is, does he have a victory?
But then a left by Maynard, so he's missing, but he's landing enough.
So we come to the 10th round, and now it is Sedillo who's going to have to dig down even more than Maynard. Right hand and a left hand behind it. Take a look at the punch profile. Only in the 9th round. That tells you everything you need to know.
There you are, and even though Sedillo landed a good percentage, by accident Maynard had to land more punches when he was throwing 100.
You have to question the tactics of Mike Sedillo. I mean, the fight is there to be won.
This is his career right here. I mean, it's easy for us to say outside the ring. He's facing a young, tough guy who's coming at him constantly. But Sedillo has just got to throw more punches if he expects to win this fight. Because he didn't take Andrew Maynard out. Sedillo had time to train. He was ready, he felt. He showed it by hurting Maynard, landing some very good shots. And his accuracy in terms of the punches he's throwing is good. He's been throwing enough.
Well, if he's saving himself for the final rounds.
Something else, the heart of a champion, and he always had that.
Valuable lesson here in this fight for Andrew Maynard. Right hand by Sedillo, and that hurt Maynard. And Maynard on his bicycle. Sedillo trying to find him. Maynard trying to fight. Sedillo bangs him with the left.
And Sedillo himself doesn't have that much, and he's getting nailed. Oh, it's turned into quite the war, hasn't it?
Sedillo's leg seems shot now. You mentioned it.
He does not have enough to fire back against Maynard.
And right now, Sedillo looks like a tired fighter. Slap with that left hand.
He hurt Andrew Maynard badly. And again, Maynard was able to suck it up and come back quickly at him.
Got to give Andrew Maynard a world of credit here. And it is Maynard who's doing the more serious damage. Maynard combinations. And now it is Sedillo who's in danger of going down with 10 seconds left. A right hand by Sedillo, and he lined that up and aimed it.
Why did he do that for the last 6 rounds? He measured Maynard and threw a right hand.
Another tough round to judge, but I'll tell you what, you might have to look at the numbers, and the numbers indicate Maynard.
I wouldn't even have any trouble with that, really. Even though Sedillo did stun him, that was one punch. All the rest was Andrew Maynard's time.
Got 2 rounds left. Got 2 rounds left, right? You can't sit there and wait. Mike, you're letting him throw punches at you, and he's scoring points on you.
Don't expect his punches either, Mike.
You had him and you let it go. You let him punch back at you. This is it, Mike. You only have 2 rounds to go. You're losing. Don't let him get it, Mike.
Well, they tell Mike Sedillo he's losing, and he is, I think. There's the right hand by Maynard. Early on in the round, he was doing some good work against Sedillo. Then Mike Sedillo, watch this. He will land a good straight right hand. Wobbled Andrew Maynard. Wide open. Sedillo took his time, got in there, could not hurt Maynard with it.
That's the look of a tired fighter right there as we start the 11th round, and Maynard seems to have more.
And of course, you heard the pep talk they gave Mike Sedillo. They were honest with him. It's true. You're probably behind, they said. This fight is winnable for either man right now.
Still, yes.
Definitely winnable because 2 good rounds for Sedillo would put him right back in it. Maynard could certainly win it by just being all right. And there are knockout possibilities here as well. Well, there are Maynard throwing still so many more punches.
It's starting to be redundant. I mean, Sedillo's in the 20s every round.
Yeah.
And that isn't going to do it.
And you know he wants a counterpunch, but still, that's a low figure.
Come on, work.
And Maynard's given him plenty of chances to counterpunch.
Got Maynard ahead by 2 points. The last 2 rounds he's won has been the difference. And remember, if the judges did not, as I did, make that 1 round
That left eye now, the swelling continuing. And right now that looks as bad as it's looked at any point in this fight. Maynard holding on a lot now. Right hand by Sedillo.
It's there for him. The short right hand is right there for Sedillo. He's just not throwing it.
Don't hold.
I don't know if his right hand would be hurt. Doesn't look like it because he does throw it with conviction when he throws it. And Sedillo doing a lot of holding.
Sedillo looking to load up with this fight. Got there with it that time.
Now look,
left behind it.
He threw a combination and landed 2 of those punches. He just doesn't throw. I'll tell you what, though. Andrew Maynard is showing us a lot of heart here because he is staying right in there, throwing lots of punches, taking what little Sedillo throws at him, and showing that he wants this very badly.
And every time Sedillo does get there with the right hand, Maynard fights back.
Make no mistake, this is not an artistic performance by Maynard, and I still would cling to the notion that this might have been a step too high for him the way he got hurt, and yet he's going to come through it, and he's going to probably get himself a W if he stays on his feet.
And a great character builder for him, too. Andrew Maynard. End of 11, 3 minutes to go. You look at the corner of Mike Sedillo, an obvious pep talk, and I don't think there's any question about the advice that he got. Get him out of there.
He better go after Andrew Maynard, at least from his standpoint, and try and do what he did to him in the 6th round, which was hurt him badly. Now the jab of Sedillo landed.
Good left hand by Maynard, and Sedillo holds on.
Let him go.
Yeah, excellent left hook by Maynard. And that jab of Sedillo landed, and where was the right behind it?
Left hand by Maynard again.
Andrew Maynard was throwing those wild punches and missed there, which wide open for a counter shot. Sedillo threw nothing.
It certainly has been a crowd-pleasing fight. There's no question about that. As you pointed out, Andrew Maynard really showed a lot tonight because he was right at the edge.
It would have been easy for him literally to give up around that 6th round. He's badly hurt, cut, all things he had not experienced, been down. But he was able to gut it out.
He's got Sedillo hurt here, too. Sedillo holding on. Sedillo's now both a combination of hurt and tired. And you can see Sugar Ray Leonard in the background behind the referee right now. And he's fighting the fight with his man.
Far left to your screen in the right shirt jumping up, and you can see his enthusiasm. Reminds me of Marvelous Marvin Hagler, where we had Robbie Sims
Yes.
sunk to it.
Yes. Probably tougher for a fighter to root for his guy in the ring than it is for him to be in there himself. At least he can be the master of his own fate, but there's nothing Ray can do for Andrew Maynard except cheer.
Andrew Maynard is very close to owning the NABF Light Heavyweight Championship.
And it'll be earned. It won't come without a price.
Unless, of course, we are shocked by the scoring, and I would be.
Step back.
Yeah, very. 10 seconds remaining in this
Come on, work.
gutsy effort for Andrew Maynard.
And for Mike Sedillo, his opportunity was there. He just did not snatch it, did not go after it. And he will, I'm sure, rue that. He'll look back at things and he will not be happy. These fans are happy. They saw what was it turned out to be a very exciting fight.
Excellent, very entertaining fight. Had all the drama that you would hope for.
I don't think Mike Sedillo honestly believes he won this bout.
I know his corner doesn't.
No, they told him he was losing, and he didn't do anything in the last 2 rounds to reverse that. Ray Leonard feels his charge took care of things, not in the way they might have anticipated, but nevertheless got through it.
Real sense of relief, I'm sure, in Ray Leonard's mind right at the moment. And that is without even hearing the final decision, and it was just more of same in the 12th round.
Well, Mike Sedillo was supposed to go out and try and take Maynard out. How many punches did he throw? 24. Even though he landed 10, wasn't nearly enough. And Maynard threw 83 in that round. So an indication that Andrew stayed busier right to the end.
Says something about the conditioning of Andrew Maynard, too, because we kept speculating on the fact that he hadn't been.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the official scoring. Before I give it a round of applause for both of these fighters, this was one hell of a fight here at Caesars Tahoe. Bert Clements scores the bout 113-113. He has it even.
Wow.
Doug Hunter scores the bout 116-110, and Marty Salmon scores it 115-111 for the winner by majority decision. He now has the NABF light heavyweight title, Andrew Maynard.
Well, one judge had it very close. Mike Sedillo, Al, I really believe thought he won the fight.
I guess he did. I don't know why, honestly. He got the knockdown and he had one other good round, but he did not sustain over this bout.
So when we come back, we will talk with a man who just had his toughest evening as a professional fighter. The holder of the NABF light heavyweight title, and a happy man he is, and with good reason. And you can see he has paid the price with that eye. Let's go to Al Bernstein with Andrew Maynard. Al?
Andrew Maynard happy indeed, and boy, this was a title that was not easily earned. As Barry said, you were in bad shape in that 6th round. How hurt were you, and was there any point at which you did not think you were going to go on?
Oh, I was going to go on most definitely. He caught me with a right hand coming in because, you know, I felt kind of tight, and I kept telling Pepe, but he was a good fighter, very good fighter.
Why did you go down the second time? Was that to give yourself a rest?
Yes, it was. I mean, like I said, all my faculties weren't there. I mean, I saw Mike, then all of a sudden, I saw the referee, and I thought the referee was signaling Mike to go back. So then when he came charged at me, I said, well, let me go down on one knee, and he still punched, caught me on that.
That's true, he did, actually, when you were down. Andrew, the eye was cut and the eye was swelling. These are things you had not faced before. What was going through your mind at that point?
Well, I kept getting his shoulder, and that's what increased the swelling. I didn't know I was cut until maybe after the 6th round. Then I kept feeling it, and I said, God, I'm bleeding. So, you know, my trainer always told me don't panic.
Well, you won the NABF title. You're going to defend it May 18th in Washington.
Yes.
How's it feel to have that?
Well, I want all the hometown people in Washington, D.C. to come see me. I know Simon Brown is the best out there, but I'm trying to share that load with him.
Okay, Simon Brown from Washington. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
An excellent win for you.
All right,
Andrew Maynard wins the NABF light heavyweight crown, and boy, he did it the old-fashioned way. He earned it. We'll be